Dun, 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 lightsaber Star Wars. Dun, 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 there are no Jedi, so this is dumb. Hello, I am Viral Vinnie, and I just went and saw Rogue One. And, ooh, damn, this is going to be a fun one. Here's the thing. Everyone was going in, like, hyping up this movie. It was, like, super great. Everyone's like, it's great, it's awesome, it's amazing. Oh, yeah, it made a ton of money. I'm like, I'm not surprised. And I was talking to my friend, I was just like, hey, can I, because he saw both this and Assassin's Creed, so I'm just like, I'm not 100%. Which one would you recommend? He's like, oh, absolutely, go with Rogue One. Rogue One is a million times better. So I did, and I just thought it was okay. I'm sure you've already clicked off, and for the few of you are just like staying around to type your messages. Let me explain, because I did not think the film was bad. I didn't have a lot of problems. It was just very meh. And the problem is, I did not watch the last trailer, or I think I did. I don't remember. The point is, I watched a couple of the trailers, but not all of them. And something I liked was was how Jyn Erso was portrayed in these trailers, where she's implied to be this badass, this criminal, this person who reluctantly is forced to join the rebellion, and how she's this awesome character, and there's those shots where she's hobbling down the walkway and she's firing her gun, and then the one where and the first trailer where she's the camera pans and she's in the armor, and you're like, oh, is she evil? And then it's just nah, she's this doe-eyed kind of just pretty girl who just goes, hope, rebellion, hope, my dad, hope. It's just she, as a character, she is really flat. It's one of those things we're gonna just told. Oh man, Jyn Erso is great, but what in the movie? What does she do? She doesn't really do anything. She sneaks around, and she fires the gun once. I think she takes out a couple stormtroopers in the in that scene where there's the explosions going on and the tank and the rebels are attacking. She takes out one or two guys. All the side characters are a trillion times better than Jyn, and I was really disappointed. Again, she's not bad, she's not poorly acted, she does fine. They don't really give her a lot to work with. It's just, I loved Rey. Rey was awesome, and I know a lot of people say she's a Mary Sue, but I'm so at the end of the day, she's doing something. This character really didn't do much. There was very little reason for Jyn to be in the movie, besides the fact that, hey, your dad worked on the Death Star, let's go see if we can get you to help. The side character, the robot, I don't remember his name, the Imperial the robot they stole, he's funny, he's sassy, he's not full-blown snark, but there's the way at first I was thinking, man, this is a sassy robot, and then because the trailer was beforehand, but the perfect example is he's kind of like Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's he inherently is not funny. It's just the way he delivers his lines and he acts everything is so funny. That's his character like that. So that's the robot's kind of the same way, where it's he doesn't say any funny laughed out lines, but it's just the delivery and the way he says it that makes things so much funnier. And the guy, I made sure to remember his name, because when I was watching the movie, I forgot his name. When the movie said it, I'm I think it's Castro or Celio, Diego Luna. Which, by the way, I love. He doesn't even pretend to hide his Spanish accent, which is fine. But he's just hello, I am in Star Wars. Darth Vader, you are my father, but how? He has that fixed Spanish accent, and it's just funny because I'm I get it. It's Diego Luna. What are you gonna do? But it's funny. He does not even try to hide his accent at all, and I think that's great. He's he's an asshole Han Solo. He's got that smuggler kind of persona to him, but he's he's oh, I'm you find out his parents died or whatever. It's not really big of a deal, but it's just again, he's not as charming and he's not as awesome as Han Solo, but he's a kind of similar to that. And then out of nowhere, they go to this village. They meet these two guys, and which I feel bad. I have plenty of black friends. No, but I feel bad because I don't remember their names. It's just the Asian and then the Asian with the gun. But I do like the one in the trailers, the one who has like the stick and who's all like forcey, because it was interesting because I was thinking about it more and like in hindsight how you have this subset of people who believe in the Jedi even though they're gone. And I was thinking, well, yeah, like even though the Jedi is gone, the Force isn't gone, so like you could still be a Force user and not know it. Like you just think, oh, that's weird or that's some mess up thing. So I like the fact that like even though the Jedi was gone, he tried to keep the faith alive, even though he didn't know it. He was never trained as a Jedi. He was never done all that, but he wanted to keep it alive. So it's like, oh, that's kind of a cool thing to think of. His best friend was just like the quirky best friend type. He was just like, yeah, I'll go where this guy goes. And then the last member of Rogue One is the fighter pilot who defected from the Empire. He's like, the Empire's bad. I want to help you guys. He was Indian. Again, racist, but like that was his defining character trait. Was just like he didn't really say or do anything that funny. He's just like, oh man, he's just gosh darn guys, it sucks. It's not very good. We're gonna die. Yada yada. And then there's Forrest Whitaker, which I feel like is a ripoff because he's really only in like 2 scenes. He's like a little bit in the opening, and there's like a scene with him and Jin where her dad explains he built the whole. Which I thought was cute, but I'm like, I feel like that's them saying, okay, shut up, the jokes are done, because her dad explains he built a trap in the Death Star that if you shoot the port, like they do in Episode 4, that wasn't an overlooked flaw, that was like a intentional. He left that there because he hated the Empire, and he wanted the Empire to lose. I'm like, okay, that's cute. I see what you're doing, like, let's stop with the jokes now that, haha, it was poorly designed. But yeah, Forrest Whitaker was just like, I don't know, apparently he's a character from the show. I don't care enough to pay attention or whatever, but it's like he was alright. He was just kind of there for exposition and, to look all badass. The characters aren't the problem. The big, and the story's alright, but it's just like, here, without spoiling it, we'll do spoilers in a bit, but without spoiling it, it is, Jin gets captured by the rebels. They tell her, go find Forrest Whitaker, because he knows where your dad is. They go find Forrest Whitaker. He's like, yo, your dad's here. They go back to the rebel base, have a meeting, and then they go get her dad. Stuff happens. Go back to the rebel base. Another meeting. They're like, all right, we got to go get the Death Star plans. Go get the Death Star plans, and then movie's over. So again, it didn't have. It was just kind of these like errands. It's like, go here, do that. All right, now go here, go there. It's just. I feel like this would have worked better as a game in terms of the story, where it's just like you didn't really, there was no big over like arching, like the bad guy in the trailers, and again I don't remember his name, but just the bad guy is just kind of doing his own thing. Like he doesn't really fight or even like see the Rogue One until the end of the movie. He's kind of just doing his own thing parallel to this thing where it's like, oh, he's just behind them and they stole this plan and he's in the same factory but they missed, and it's just like again, it's not a bad story. It was not like, it's just like at the end of the day, it's like I said, so really what happened is Jin, so I don't know why I keep saying Jin had to find her dad. She finds her dad, they get the Death Star plans. Like, nothing of consequence was really learned by it. We know they stole the Death Star plans. Like, yeah, it's cute to see how they did it, but there was nothing I was like, wow, like, now you think of the series. It was just like, oh, cute. There are a lot of cool cameos and shout-outs, and and the big problem is I was more impressed by that than the actual movie where first off, when they're in this village, they like bump into these people and they're like, and the Spaniards like, leave it alone. And it's the guys from Episode 4 who Obi-Wan in the bar where like Obi-Wan chops off their arms. At the first part, like Jin heads the blue milk and that's cute. And then there's like a throwaway line where Jimmy Stewart's in the movie, and that's awesome. And that's of course another throwback. But he doesn't really do anything. And then there's just a throwaway line where he's just like, the rebels are like, oh hey, phone professionalism. The rebels contact Jimmy Stewart and he's like, hey, can you get in contact with your friend who fought in the Clone Wars? And he's like, oh yeah, I know I know who. And he's like, yeah, sure, I know him. I'll send him a message, and they're like, well, make sure it's someone important. And he's like, oh, I could not trust it to another person. She's very important to me. And it's like, they're talking about Obi-Wan, and they're referencing Leia, and then there's a bunch of other stuff like that. Just small shout-outs where, like, again, it was like, oh, that's cute. I see where that goes. But there was nothing that I was, like, really revealed. Which has me a bit nervous for future Star Wars movies, where something I love about the MCU is, like, because they have Kevin Feige and they plan all this movie, like, this will lead to this, this will lead to this, this will lead to this spoiler will be put here, and it will lead to that movie, and then that movie will connect. It's very thought out and planned. And my big word with Star Wars going forward now is that it's just gonna be great story, filler garbage. Story, filler. Story, and it's just going to be like this. Like I'm sure, again, I don't think they've announced what the follow-up, not sequel to Rogue One, but the next, it's young Han Solo. Again, like, what are we really going to learn that's going to change that much? Like, cool, he got the Millennium Falcon in a card game. Okay, cool, that's not like, it doesn't, so, I don't know. So overall, I enjoyed it. You know, it's just solidly okay. There was nothing I hated. There was nothing bad. It was just like, yeah, I enjoyed it. The action was fine. The acting was okay. Like, even though Jyn just looks all doe-eyed and, you know, she plays her role fine. Diego Luna does his part fine. Everyone does it fine. There was just no standout, like, clap out, like, yeah, like, awesome moments. It was just, like, solidly okay. So, see it, but, you know, don't feel like you have to see it right now in theaters. You could definitely, this is definitely a Netflix or a DVD movie. But I have a bunch of tiny itty bitty mini nitpicks. So after this point, it's just gonna be hardcore spoilers. So you've got like 3 seconds before just spoil the shit out of this movie. Everyone dies. That's kind of bullshit. So here's the thing. I get that at some point in a movie or a trailer or whatever, they're like, oh, this is a suicide mission, we're not probably going to come back. They just killed everyone. Like, it didn't feel warranted. It just felt like, oh, well, all the characters have to die because that's sad and dramatic. And, like when Alan Tudyk's robot, the Imperial one, died, I was, like, a little, like, oh, man, that really sucks. And then Diego Luna died to come back and die later. And then the Asian and with the machine gun, and then I did laugh with my sister afterwards, where I was like, I found it funny where, like, it's supposed to be this badass awesome moment where the Asian Jedi, let's just call him, he goes and he, like, walks into this line of fire because there's a lever he has to get to, and, like, it's supposed to be this badass moment where, like, he believes in the Force, and the Force, like, surrounds him, and the Force protects him, and I'm just like, you know, Stormtroopers have really shitty aim, right? This isn't, like, not an literally anyone could have done that. The Stormtroopers would have missed them. But then he dies too, he gets upset, so they have to die. The Indian guy just dies, and, like, they throw a grenade in his ship. Like, everyone dies, and it didn't feel warranted. It just felt like, oh, this is emotional, or, like, man, like, this is gonna make audiences cry. When I was just like, hey, we didn't get to learn a lot about these characters. It was just like, that sucks. But, oh well, the rebels got their plan. Which, again, that was another thing I felt like they're, like, everyone's like, why didn't they just email the plans? And they're like, well, they kind of did. They're like, well, the file sizes are too big, so you got to do it from the top of the shad like this, yada yada. But I was just like, man, like, they really, I just really felt like they were trying to bring that end in. Like, I bet with, like, Jyn and thing on the beach, they get, like, nuked, basically, and it's just like, they didn't kiss, but they held hands, and I'm like the entire time they're, like, on that beach and they're looking at the nuke coming, I'm like, don't do this. Don't fucking do this. Don't have a romance. There's literally no reason for a romance. And, again, they held hands, so I don't know if you want to be, like PG, like, maybe they did love each other, but I just assumed they're friends. Because, again, if you, like, it's like, one of my favorite scenes in Watchmen is when the Dr. Manhattan bomb goes off, and, like, the two guys just, like, hug each other. These two, like, random strangers in the street, and they're like, come here, like, and it's like, yeah, if a nuke was going off, you just grab the person closest to you. And then as for all the shout-outs, burping, professional, as for all the shout-outs, they they just, again, it just felt a lot of stuff in this movie felt like, hey, look, this is Star Wars, or this is a prequel to Episode 4, because here's Vader. Like, in the trailers, you're like, oh, Vader's in this movie. This is awesome. This is gonna be great. And it's just like, he literally just like, you messed up, fix it. And then that's his scene. And then there's like a 5-second shot of Leia at the end where it's like, oh, Leia's here. That's cute. With the, the CG paint that makes people look young. That was cute. And then the big one, which actually did kind of work, was Grand Moff Tarkin. I don't know the actor's name, but I'm pretty sure he's been dead for a while. So it was like, and it's not like Leia and Vader are both like quick 2-minute scenes. He was probably in it for like 15-20 minutes. He was in it for a fair bit. He was kind of an antagonist to the Imperial guy in this movie, where like he wants to meet the Emperor, he wants to meet Vader, he wants to know he did a good job. And Grand Moff Tarkin's like, nope, I will respect this. I will make sure everything is all good and orderly. And Grand Moff Tarkin is basically like, no, I'm in charge, and he just gets all upset and pissy. But there was a lot of stuff like that where it's just like, it just felt like, hey, look, what was in other movies. I'm like, okay, cool, but can you show me something for this movie I would like to see? That's pretty much it. There's like a lot of mini nitpicks. Like the intro is just a long time ago. That's fine. And then I know people are complaining that there's no title crawl, but it's literally just like, boom, like it's just it's literally that sound. It's just like a loud noise, and then the titles pop up, and then or sorry, not the title. It's just like, cut to this planet. I was like, I felt like they could have done it better, where it's just like Rogue One, boom, and then like a hard cut to this planet. And I just like, you could have done the thing where you start on the stars and then just pan down. You did not have to do that hard cut, and I felt like it almost felt like they had cut out the text crawl. There was text crawl, and they cut it out. And the only other thing is, there's a lot of shot in the movie with like the first shot of the first teaser with like Jyn looking out. That is just her escaping from the planet. You think it's gonna be her like going into this place or some Alma. And then that shot where they're building the Death Star, and like they're putting in town. That's just a quick shot. There's a lot of the shots from the trailer are just these quick kind of shots where it's just like, oh, I remember that from the trailer. Remember that? Like, they kind of don't flow into the story as a lot of trailers should, where it's like, oh, I remember this part, and then you see the part that follows after it, or you see the part that came before that, like John Wick, or like stuff like that. It's just like, there's the shot from the trailer, there's the shot, like, it was just a lot of, there was a lot of stuff that, like, a lot of times that had nothing to do with the story, which it was just like an establishing shot, and I was like, okay, cool, that's cute, but, like, it had nothing to do with the story. Overall, again, like, one last spoiler, written time, it was awesome, but again, I enjoy Star Wars as, I like lightsabers, I like Jedis, I don't give two fucks about anything else. I don't give a frig about how Han Solo's ship is the fastest. I don't care about all these different races. Like, I'm fine with Wookiees and Ewoks and all that, but like, I don't care about these other planets, all this like expanded lore stuff. I really don't care. So for me, as just like a casual Star Wars fan, I was just like, I got really bored because I'm like, nothing, like, there's no reason for me to care beyond, hey, it's Star Wars, and that's my big fear going forward, is that the main episodes will be great, but then these, like, spin-offs are just gonna be like, oh, look, Star Wars, like, again, like, the reason I am excited for Spider-Man Homecoming is not because it's Spider-Man, it's because it looks like a good movie. If it was a shitty Spider-Man movie, I would not like it. And that's like, again, I know this is the first one, we can't really judge it based off the whole, Star Wars franchise, basically, or whatever you want to call it, conglomerate at this point. We can't judge it based off of this first one, which was the safe one, the easy one to do, but it was just like, it just felt unnecessary, which sucks considering how many great, like, all the Marvel movies, even Thor 1, Thor 2, The Dark World, Captain America, all these movies, like, earned their existence, and this is kind of just like, hey, here's Star Wars, you want more Star Wars? I'm like, I guess.